And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome on in. Happy Monday. Brand new week. Hope everyone is doing well. Gooch, welcome on in. Yo, GL. Gooch, are you still awake or did you just wake up? I am assuming it's the former. Go to bed. Isn't it like 3 in the morning there right now? Both. Alright. Yeah, more Ace Attorney tonight. So, we're still in case 3. We are in part 3 of the case. Or section 3 of the case. I just had surgery on Friday. Ouch. So you're just sleeping in between painkiller doses. Yikes. If it isn't TMI, what kind of surgery? Surgery went great. I assume if you're having painkillers, that's a big wound. Ow! Gallbladder yeeted. Yikes. Yeah, that really needs a lot of painkillers, I assume. So yeah, hope you are resting well. And yeah, hope you are recovering well as well. Oh my god, they cannot English. It's like 7 o'clock already. Anyway. Alright, let's continue. So, apparently we are still in the past in this part of the case. So yeah, let's do this. It's not too bad. They only gave you enough happy pills for like 2 days. Now you're on Tylenol. Yikes. So you're just on over-the-counter stuff for now. Can't you ask for an additional prescription if it's still hurting? Or do you need a follow-up checkup on that one? You could, but Tylenol. Okay. If it's enough, then yeah, I think you can roll with that. But yeah, I hope you are recovering quickly. And all right, let's continue. December 25th. Yeah, Merry Christmas. 10 a.m. Detention Center, visitors room. Hey, it's Miss Bound. Oh, Mr. Fender. Mr. Edgeworth. And Tofu is ban. Yo, Anayalel, what's up? No meme bans, please. I'm so sorry about what happened yesterday. She looks rather tired. Has Mr. Von Karma finished interrogating you? Yes, though he really only seemed interested in how I melted those sculptures. Are you here to see Mr. Tangaroa too? Yes. I'm terribly worried about him. Oh, it's Bad. Detective Bad. Detective Bad? What are you doing back there? Oh, just happened to be here. I'll be heading back to the scene soon. Not sure how anyone just happens to be at a detention center, but okay. Good morning. Oh my god, why is your hair white now? Mr. Tangaroa, what happened to you? Oh no, Samson, what did they do to you? They didn't seem to want to let me sleep. I had no idea interrogations could be so involved. Sorry if I seem distracted. I think I'm a little tired. They're not letting you sleep? That's not police work. That's torture. What's going on here, Detective Bad? Okay, wait. Tangaroa's hair isn't white. It's black. So what happened to his hair? Does he just have fake black hair and his hair's like white? I'm not the one doing the interviewing. It's the guy they put on the case before me. I like Von Karma's methods about as much as you do, which is why I'm doing what I can to help. Was Detective Bad who got... I'd still be in that interrogation room right now, if it weren't for him. Detective Bad is really trying to look out for Mr. Tangaroa in his own way, it seems. Alright, Eddie, let's share yesterday's findings with Mr. Tangaroa. You got it, Mr. E. My notepad is at the ready. Mr. Tangaroa, we found out quite a bit if you'd like to hear it. Of course, I thank you. Your Panda Express Isn't that too much MSG, Aniv? Are you alright, Mr. Tangaroa? You seem kinda spaced out. I'm fine. I think my blood sugar might be running a little low. Samson, do we have anything that might give him a little energy boost? We have the candy things, right? Huh? Is that chocolate for me? Oh, those are the chocolates I wish I could just give them to you, Mr. Tangaroa, but the rules here don't exactly allow me to do so. Oh, that's a shame. But rules are rules, I suppose. There must be some way we can hand them to him. I hope Detective Bad is noting the meaningful looks in his direction. Disc. Let me take a look at them. If they seem legit, I might consider passing them on to the suspect. Thank you, Detective Bad. My hero. I'm touched. Thank you, Detective. Yeah, whatever. Just sit tight. Here. You don't know how much this means to me. Yeah, keep it down, will ya? For both our sakes. Of course, Detective. I wouldn't wish to put your livelihood at risk. Now, to sample these treats. Detective, I apologize for putting you in a tight spot. I didn't do it for you. It was my call. Guess you're not such a bad guy after all. Oh, the sweetness. I feel like a man reborn. Haha. Were they your handiwork, Judy? Yes, how were they? It's gonna break out in song. Feel them melt. Soft and smooth. Chocolate that'll comfort and soothe. I don't know how the melody works. Ear to ear. Head to toe. Smile and savor. The taste as it flows. Delicious. They're not exactly beautiful, but they're sweet and oh so flavorful. Thank you, Judy. I'm so glad you like them. And I'm glad you're back to your old self. My apologies, friends. The food they serve here is just so flavorless. Between that and the lack of sleep, I was about ready to collapse from sheer despair. Wow, is the food here really all that bad? Just the usual French fries, ham sandwich, stuff like that. Yes, and yet I couldn't taste the thing. Anyway, I'm heading back to the scene. Before you go, Detective, do you have any new information to share? Oh yeah, you were right about the victim's identity. Frost worked as a sculptor in France, where he was known as Paul Halik. Lyrics are great, but singing is something we can work on. An ILL I cannot sing. Artie Frost was Paul Halik? I never would have imagined. Poor Mr. Halik. So, the famous French sculptor wasn't a Frenchman after all, huh? This all would certainly explain why Mr. Halik was such a recluse and refused to show his face in public. He was busy working on his greatest masterpiece, apparently. A bunch of Zodiac statues. Guess he'll never finish them now. He never finished his greatest masterpiece? Nah. Seems he was making statues for each season. But he never got around to the winter constellations. The winter constellations? You mean Taurus and Gemini? So the two he made out of ice would have completed the set. Yeah, and now they're nothing but puddles. What a bummer. I'm so sorry. Oh no, Miss Bound, I wasn't blaming you. One last thing. Seems he had himself a bit of a spending habit when it came to his work. Every statue cost him millions to make, which means he was always strapped for cash. We're checking to see if there's any chance someone called in a debt. I guess not even famous artists are safe from money problems. Do you have any idea why he entered the confectionery contest? None. Guy didn't even tell his family. I see. Alright, I really gotta get going. I'll go fetch another guard, but I can't be hanging around here any longer. Understood, Detective. We'll see you again shortly. He's a good man. He certainly is. And an uncompromising one. Somebody who can be trusted to stand up for what he believes in. And to scare the pants off anybody new he meets. Hey. Now you're going to tell me about what you learned yesterday? Of course, allow me to give you a full report. Thank you for that, and allow me to apologize on Judy's behalf. I'm so sorry. It's fine, Mr. Tangaroa. As I told her yesterday, the important thing is that we learn the truth in the end. Now, would you mind if I ask you a question or two? By all means, I'll gladly share all that I can. Okay, contestants. What can you tell me about the contestants who took part in the final round of the contest? Let's see, there was Miss Cohen. I loved her design concept. Unfortunately, her entry was in violation of the rules and so I had to disqualify her. Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semifinal. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar in both counts. And there was actually something a little unusual about his entry for the semifinal as well. Which was... it tasted identical to Mr. Frost's. They may have looked different, but I could have sworn I was eating the same thing. Huh? And what exactly did this work look like? Oh, there should be a photograph back at my mansion. I'll show it to you later, Mr. Edgeworth. Much appreciated, Miss Bound. But Mr. Frost's entry for the finals, that was truly sublime. So you were able to finish judging it? Even though his body had been discovered in the meantime? Yes, I wasn't aware of what had happened until after I'd completed my assessment. Mr. Frost wasn't in his room when I visited, so I took the liberty of sampling a bit. Part of the lyre, I believe. I'd never tasted anything like it. It was like a dream. I was so moved that I burst into song. I'm sorry, but are you saying that the lyre tasted good? I'd like to hear more of that if you don't mind. You're quite sure it was the lyre you tasted when you sampled Mr. Frost's work. Wait, don't we have a picture of that, or was that in the future? Yeah, there was no lyre here. There weren't any strings in the lyre. I'm certain of it. It was part of the Gemini sculpture, but it's the only sculpture in that display case. Mr. Tangaroa, would you mind taking a look at this photograph for me? Oh shoot, is this gonna be the Gemini versus Pisces thing again? So the part you tried was the lyre, the one shown here without any strings. Oh, there were strings originally. That was the part I ate. So the strings were missing because Mr. Tangaroa ate them all and he enjoyed them? Miss Cohn told us she ate part of the lyre as well, but she said it was far too salty for her to finish. Then it's true. The truth is, I've suspected for a while that there might be something wrong with my sense of taste. Something wrong? How so exactly? There's a taste disorder characterized by an inability to detect salty flavors. And I suspect I've been suffering from it. Oh, no wonder you mentioned earlier that you can't taste anything from fries and ham sandwiches. I eat so many sweet foods on a daily basis that it took a while for me to even notice. Wow, shouldn't you have diabetes if that's the case? But there's no denying it now. That would explain why the food here seemed so bland to him. What? But your taste buds are your livelihood. Even if there were some long-term treatment option, I highly doubt a total cure for your condition exists. Nevertheless, you should put in a request to the police for a proper evaluation. Oh, that won't be necessary. I have a recipe for a cure back at my mansion. You do? I do. You can take a look at it for yourself if you like. Samson, we can't show that recipe just to anybody. Judy, Mr. Edgeworth is hardly just anybody. He's my attorney and I have no secrets from him. Yes, and? Yes, you're right, of course, if that is what you wish. What on earth is the secret recipe for a miracle cure that they've been hiding? Well, I suppose I should be getting back. Alright, we'll be right behind you. Judy. Yes, Samson. There's more to life than just me. Please, Judy, think about the life you want to live. Because I won't always be around. Don't say that! Without you, I don't have a life to live. So I'll be waiting right here at the mansion until you come home. Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait, Miss Bound! Judy! Whoa, she seemed really upset. I thought I saw tears in her eyes. Why do you even say all that to her? Because I worry about her. She can't keep putting my needs ahead of her own. What do you mean? The Halik collection, the candy making. It's all because she thinks these things will make me happy. She never thinks about what she wants, what she likes. I would just want her to be her own person and to choose her own destiny. The last thing I want is for her to miss out on all that life has to offer because of me. I guess that makes sense. Wait, they're married? I don't know. Because it's weird. He really does see her as his own child. Oh wait. She might be his kid. Because she's like only 16 here. What parent wouldn't want their child to walk their own path? And what parent wouldn't do everything they could to protect them? Yo, Coburn, what's up? Welcome on in, buddy. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and having an awesome Monday. I know exactly how he feels in this moment. I think I've asked of you everything I can for now, Mr. Tangaroa. We should be getting back to the scene of the crime. Oh, you're leaving? I see. I suppose I'll be going back to the interrogation room for another session. So. Bit weird, but you're alright. That's good to hear. Yes, we'll have to do something about that. You'll speak to the police for me? That too, but I'll be putting something else in place as well. An ace up our sleeves when the time comes. I look forward to learning more. I'm counting on you, Mr. Edgeworth. We'll be back to brief you, Mr. Tangaroa, every day. And Judy too. Thank you, Eddie. I'll look forward to it. Mr. Tangaroa, your interrogator will do everything in his power to extract the confession from me. I hate to see an innocent man suffer like this. But please, you have to do everything you can to hold out. If you can't, Mr. Von Carmen will use that confession against you for as long as this case lasts. And it will make it that much harder for me to save you. I understand, and I'll try. I won't give up until you're out of there, Mr. Tangaroa. You have my word on that. That's badass. December 25th, 11:03 a.m. Contest venue, Fountain Room. Why are you all working on Christmas Day? Detective Bad, thank you again for what you did earlier. Yeah, thanks a ton. What are you talking about? Haha, there's no need to be shy about it. Disc. Never mind that now. I'm guessing you two are back here, looking to investigate some more. So we're playing as Edward's dad, who was a defense attorney. Yup. We are investigating the case in the past.
And ILL Backseats with. If you want to learn how to cook and sign, please help us out by leave a comment, subscribe, follow, and hit the button. For Only Pies Cook and teach you how to teach you to do them at the same time.
Yo, ILL, thank you for the backseat. As for a cooking stream, I do not know if I can do that. But yeah, really appreciate it. Alright, we are indeed. We'll need something solid if we're going to save Mr. Tangaroa. Well, I hate to break it to you, but apart from this room, the whole place is on lockdown. What? But we need to see those other rooms. This is Mr. Von Karma's doing, I presume. Who else? Haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. You guys probably got a hand in that too. And don't expect to speak with anybody except us cops and Miss Bound. Everybody else is gone, and I doubt Von Karma will be handing out phone numbers. Is this all just a game to him? Why does he have to go so far? So what's your plan of action, Detective? Same as before. Do what I can do to help you uncover the truth, like I promised. You have my gratitude. Just you wait, Mr. Von Karma. We're gonna beat you and your bag of dirty tricks. Detective, maybe conduct a brief investigation of the area? Sure, but like I said, everywhere else is off bounds. You probably won't be seeing those rooms again. That's fine. As long as there's at least some way of continuing our investigation, we'll make it. Begin investigation. What is it? Any thoughts on the case, Detective? Officially, as a cop, my thoughts are Von Karma's right about everything. But as myself, I'm not happy. We need to investigate more, here and elsewhere. I put a word in for you with forensics. Ask the guy whatever you want. Much appreciated. I am in your debt, Detective Bad. I didn't do it for you, I did it for the investigation. Excuse me, may I ask what you're investigating? Sir, I'm analyzing the fountain water to see what might be in it, sir. And what did you find? Chocolate. And what looks like the kind of flavorings and colorings used in frozen desserts, sir. Composition of the chocolate seems to be the same as that of Mr. Tangaroa's work. And the flavorings and colorings match the profile of those used in Mr. Frost's ice sculptures. Interesting. Wait. I remember... Okay, I don't know if like the melted sculptures here are actually got in the fountain? I don't know. Those little rivers flow from all four artists' rooms right here to this fountain. Guess that's how the stuff from the melted sculptures wound up in there. And that's not all, sir. We also found blood. What? Why is there blood in the water? Think back to our investigation of the murder scene, Detective. Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. You're right. Don't remember anybody mentioning they'd removed the blood along with the body. The victim's blood was mysteriously absent, as was the part of the chocolate chest that had pooled. Odd. I believe that the blood probably belonged to... obviously Frost, because... yeah.
Take that!
The victim, huh? I'll have the guy compare it with the blood on the murder weapon. It's a match. The blood in the fountain is Frost's. But why would someone want to send the victim's blood downstream and into the fountain like this? Frost's blood was found in the fountain but is not at the scene of the crime. Interesting. This sign shows which artist's work is on display in which room. From left to right, Mr. Tangaroa, Mr. Gusto, Miss Go, and Mr. Frost. Incidentally, this sign is also made from candy. What were they going to do with all this candy? Was somebody gonna eat it when the contest was over? Oh, I thought Eddie was my companion. A moment of your time, Eddie. Sure thing, Mr. E. What up? Do you have any thoughts on the case? Oh, you bet I do. Mr. Tangaroa's amazing display being used to store the body. Mr. Cone's beautiful dreamscape being used to store the murder weapon. Huh, we're really seeing some beautiful things being used for ugly purposes in this case, huh? I suppose we are. And to make things worse, Miss Bound seems super down. When I asked if he had any thoughts on the case, I was thinking more about useful insights. Oh, sorry, Mr. E. Did I do something wrong? I worry about you sometimes, Eddie. How are you liking your first crime scene investigation, Eddie? Oh, it's great. I've been taking notes about everything, and I'm learning so much. I'm so happy you let me tag along, Mr. Edgeworth. So, you want to be an attorney, huh? You bet I do. I'd give anything to be a hero of justice, to help the helpless and to fight for what's right. The first time I saw Mr. E do his thing in court, I knew I found my calling. You know, cops look out for people too. Sure, but I want to be an attorney. Well, good luck to ya. I get the feeling Detective Bad might be pinning for an apprentice of his own. It seems these instruments are used on Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound's TV show, Bacon Bomb. There's some of the few things in here that aren't made of candy. Is it just me or does the detective seem a little disappointed? There's a drum set here decorated to look as if it were made out of cakes. They must play it on Bacon Bomb. Detective, about these drums? We already checked. There's nothing inside any of them. And no sign of anything having been put inside or taken out either. They're not relevant to the case. You've already done your homework, I see. I may like lollipops a little too much, but I'm no sucker. A Santa Claus statue, is this made of candy too? That door leads to Tangaroa's room, so yeah, could be he made that thing too. Speaking of Santa, that reminds me, I still need to find a present for Miles. I wanted an attorney's badge. Make something out of cardboard. I wonder if Mr. Tangaroa would make one out of candy for me if I ask. That's the door to Gusto's room. I guess the candy reindeer's meant to show the way. Big antlers like that. Must be a bull. Discount badge. Yes, discount badge. Badge 2? Not yet. Not yet. Give Skull Dark Share more interested, so I didn't bring in a quarter of the songs. That's literally. Please don't call out lurkers and if. I think not. Male reindeers shed their antlers in winter. Therefore, this must be a female. Thanks, Mr. Trivia. Attorneys. They don't teach you about reindeers in law school, detective? This is quite the trophy. Awarded to Tangaroa, first place, International Confectioners Association Annual Spectacular. It's made of candy. I guess it wasn't made to last forever. Makes sense. Prizes, fame, none of it lasts forever, right? I doubt it's anything quite that deep. These trophies all belong to Mr. Tangaroa, but they're not all for confectionery contests. Some appear to be for charity work. a testament to both his character and his professional achievements. What's this one here? In recognition of Bacon Bop's long-standing achievement in making children's dreams come true. That's so sweet, it got me wanting to watch it. Where does this elevator go? The second floor. Tanjiro and Bound live up there. Sounds like they live a pretty charmed life. Tea parties, candy making, that kind of thing. They even have a garden. Must be nice on a sunny day. That does sound nice. Perhaps he'll invite us when all this is over. You'd come, wouldn't you, detective? Don't get ahead of yourself now. I'm not in the habit of palling around with attorneys. Scone's room is through there. It's marked by a snowman. A candy snowman by the look of it. Oh yeah, well I'll be. He's really sizing it up. He isn't thinking of making that in this next lollipop. Authorized personnel only beyond this point, I'm afraid. Meaning what? I'm not authorized? Sorry sir, no authorized personnel either. So nobody's allowed in. Let me guess, Von Karma's orders. Guy's really starting to grind my gears. It's a Christmas tree made from candy. These candy statues have everybody on edge. If ants get in here, that's our scene ruined. Yes, it would be pretty disastrous, I suppose. And it's also gonna melt in the heat. Okay, time to talk to Jude. Oh, wait, there's more instruments here. There's a lyre here and some maracas, designed to look like ice cream cones. They're so well made that it's hard to tell what's candy and what's not just by looking. I'd reach out and touch them, but then I'd be disturbing the crime scene. Hands off, I already checked them out. They're real. Check them out? How exactly? Did you manhandle vital evidence, detective? I didn't touch them, not with my hands at least. Did he? Never mind, I don't want to picture it. Miss Bound, we're here to continue our investigation. Oh, Mr. Edger, I'm so sorry about earlier. She's still looking kinda down in the dumps, Mr. E. She must have been greatly taken aback by what Mr. Tanjiro had to say. I found the photograph of the semi-final entries for you. Here, it's all yours. Okay, these are the semis, right? Okay, wow, Miss Scone sure knows how to make a cute cake. Yes, Samson loved her design for that one. And he loved the designs and flavors of Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost's entries too. Only problem was, as Samson mentioned earlier, they tasted exactly the same. However, their respective entries for the final tasted nothing alike, it seems. Was there anything else of note that changed between the semi-final and the final? Nothing major, but I guess there was one thing. Mr. Gusto's son was always here with him throughout the contest, but he was nowhere to be seen during the final. Why would his son come and hang out at the contest venue of all places? You're sure you're happy for us to keep hold of this? Of course, I hope it helps with your investigation. Oh, and I also have the book containing the recipe for the cure Samson mentioned. We've seen this book before. It was in the chocolate frame in Tangaroa's room. That's right, he put it on display there so that everybody could see the grand prize. What? The cures in the ultimate cookbook? So it's not a book of dessert recipes, I take it. Oh no, we told the contestants of course. But I guess nobody told you yet. So the contestants all knew what the ultimate cookbook was this whole time. Okay, a book containing formulas for creating a cure for taste disorders and other chemical and pharmaceutical items. Interesting. Wait. Isn't like Scone a pharmacist? Or wait, they didn't know it here because that was deduced in the future. This is the past. Confectioner. Alright, she's still a confectioner here. I'd like to hear more about the cookbook if you don't mind, Miss Bound. So if I understand correctly, the Ultimate Cookbook is actually a collection of recipes for different medicines. Exactly, or rather, totally new medications that haven't made it to market yet, to be precise. To the right buyer, a pharmaceutical company, for example, it would be worth a fortune. But why make that the grand prize in a confectionery contest? Mr. Tangaroa is the sole heir to the Tangaroa family fortune. Perhaps you've heard of the Tangaroa Group? The Tangaroa Group? Yeah, I think I've heard of them somewhere before. It's a major pharmaceutical corporation. Sells all kinds of pills and poisons. Oh yeah, that new Cold Killer Pro has been making some real waves since it went on sale. I always reach for a Cold Killer when I'm feeling under the weather. Which is never as far as I've seen. I'd like to hear more about the Tangaroa Group if you don't mind. So, did Mr. Tangaroa not want to take over for his parents and go into the family business? No, he preferred the idea of making people's lives better through the power of confectionery. And his parents supported him in his quest to become the best in the world. Then, when they passed away, he inherited the cookbook. But why would he make such a valuable heirloom among a mere contest prize? He's been hounded by so many people looking to make that book their own. He was tired of it. But it would have been an insult to his parents' memory simply to give it away. So he decided to find somebody he felt was worthy of it. I'll bet the board of directors loved that, handing over the fruits of all their expensive research to someone else. They hated the idea, of course, which is why Delicia entered the contest. Oh, the Tangaroa Group wanted her to win the book back for them. So you knew she was a pharmacist all along? Yes, and not only that, I told her how to appeal to Samson's tastes. I tried to help her win. She was in cahoots with Delicia Scone. But why? I wanted to protect Samson by protecting the Tangaroa Group. If that cookbook fell into another company's hands, the board will never forgive it. So I wanted to find a way to keep it within the company, but in a way that Samson couldn't object. So that's how Miss Cone managed to make it so far in the contest that she had no business taking part in. But Miss Cone wasn't the only one pretending, was she? Mr. Frost wasn't really a confectioner either. And he still made it all the way to the final just like she did. Not bad. Yes, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Such a talented sculptor and a gifted crafter of desserts too. Gifted indeed, judging by the standard of his work in the final. But how did one man produce pieces of that size and quality in such a short period of time? I'm not sure I have much more to tell you. But if there's anything else I can help you with, I'd be happy to, of course. She's certainly very keen to ensure that she does all she can for Mr. Tangaroa. I could certainly use a cup of the tea you made us yesterday if you wouldn't mind. I think that will help. I think that might help move the investigation along nicely. Oh, I'll have some tea too. Your tea is to die for, Miss Pound. Well, how could I possibly refuse? I'll bring it right out. You know, I think that cheered her up a little. Investigation complete. We've learned a little more about the contest's participants, but there's still one question involving Mr. Gusto for which we'll never got an answer. You went into Mr. Frost's room, didn't you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Sure, I was... Oh... You were stopped by Von Karma. Oh yeah, speaking of Von Karma, happy Manfred Monday. That's not all. I also have questions about the work he has submitted for the semifinals. A confectioner who admits to lacking design sense and a sculptor with it in spades. Mr. Gusto could not have hoped to win such a high-level contest by himself. which is why I'm beginning to wonder if there was some sort of connection between him and Mr. Frost. Detective, I need to ask Mr. Gusto a few more questions. His story still doesn't quite add up for me. Me neither. We need to figure out how to get in touch with him. Oh, do you now, Von Karma? Good luck with that, because I have no intention of allowing it. Mr. Von Karma, I am already in the midst of my own investigation into Gusto, so there is no need for the likes of you to pester him with the same questions again. Tisk tisk. I will, however, be happy to answer any questions you might have. He seems dead set on preventing me from talking to Mr. Gusto, in which case, fine, then allow me to take you up on your offer. Very well, what is it? I'd like you to tell me about the connection between Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost. Oh, argument. Oh, testimony. The connection between Gusto and Frost, it was simply a matter of coincidence. They both happened to be taking part in the same contest. And that's all? That's all I have to say to you. What? But that doesn't help us at all. Wow, such a tease. Such a tease. We'll have to confront him with the evidence if you want to draw the truth out of him. And it's imperative that we do. He's clearly hiding something. Oh, we're gonna like rebut this. Hold it! Yes, there must have been a connection of some kind. And if you would cease your baseless interruptions, I will happily tell you what it is. If this was our courtroom, I would have you removed for contempt. But isn't that solely the judge's purview? Yeah, a Judge Von Karma would probably have dancing to his tune. What? Even judges are scared of him? It won't be an easy trial, that's for sure. Please, Mr. Von Karma, continue. It's simply a matter of coincidence they both happen to be taking part in the same contest. Granted, it may have been simply a coincidence that they both entered the same competition, but that doesn't rule out the connection of some other kind between the two. Objection! I do hate to repeat myself, but if you do not have any pertinent evidence, then kindly keep your mouth shut. Guess I'll just do as he says for now. At least until I find the evidence that proves Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost's connection. Still, the look in your eyes speaks volumes. Well, go on then. What are you trying to say? Make up your mind, will you? Should I keep my mouth shut or not? It seems Mr. Von Karma is keen to keeping us away from the truth. Which means the truth must be inconvenient to him somehow, right? Gusto and Frost had something in common. I just need to present the thing they shared with Mr. Von Karma. Alright, I think this would be... This one. Frost and Gusto's creations had different designs but tasted the same.
Objection!
I wonder if you could look at the two confections in the foreground for me, Mr. Von Karma. They were made for the contest semifinals. Both are quite exquisitely crafted, wouldn't you agree? Get to the point. As the nameplates suggest, these were Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost's entries. Mr. Gusto told us that confectionery design was far from his strong suit. And yet, his work in the picture is just as good as Mr. Frost's. Exactly as good, in fact. We learned from another witness that their two entries also tasted exactly the same. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that they were helping one another out. What? Let's take a closer look, shall we? While at first glance the two may appear to be superficially different, it soon becomes apparent that there are significant similarities in how they were put together. Okay, come to think of it, the roses are the same. The roses are the same, the oranges are the same, and the whites are the same. They are made of the same ingredients, taste the same, and share similar design aesthetic. This picture is proof positive that the two were working together. If you've figured out that much, I suppose there's little point in denying it. Mr. Von Karma knew all along that they were cooperating, but I'll warn you, none of what you're about to hear will be to your advantage. Let me confirm what you seem so desperate to prove. Gusto and Frost were indeed working together. Gusto spelled out the details of his relationship to Frost during his questioning last night. It seems they were helping one another right up until the day before the final. So, you knew that the two were cooperating. Mr. Von Karma, why are you trying to bury the truth? Please, enough with the petty slander. I merely wanted to avoid you poking your nose around before I could provide proper context to the court. It simply slipped my mind to explain that to you. Doesn't explain why he's being so slippery with facts, though. I need to figure out what it is he's hiding. I can't let things end like this.
Hold it!
So you did know that there was a connection between the two. Why were you trying to hide that? Tisk, tisk, tisk. I don't just hand out information like candy, and certainly not to the defense. Why does he keep on snapping? Not like that lollipop nursing full of detective there. You do things your way, and I'll do them mine. And you wonder why I refuse to share information with a traitor like you.
Hold it!
Last night, after Mr. Frost's work melted, correct? Yes, I interviewed Gusto personally. Yeesh, a one-on-one with Mr. Von Karma? That must have been terrifying. Imagine Mr. Gusto probably mediated his way through the difficult parts. He most certainly did not. Every time he closed his eyes, I brought him back with an almighty snap. No one dares to plead to the fifth degree. Did that even work on him? And that is how I was able to perfectly learn every last detail of Gusto and Frost's relationship. It seems they were helping one another right up until the day before the final.
Hold it!
But why were they cooperating? Gusto's sense of design is subpar and Frost was an amateur confectioner at best. Okay, so Gusto was doing the taste. Frost was doing presentation. Neither of them stood a chance at making it through the contest alone. So what was their endgame? Why cooperate only up until the day before the finals? Gusto ends to have ended the scheme. Allegedly, he wanted to win the final on his own merits. His one and only goal was to be crowned the world's best confectioner, and his pride did not allow him to do so with the help of another. Cheaters can only ever win hollow victories, I guess. I was under the impression that their collaboration had only lasted through the semifinals, but I'm starting to think it might have lasted up through the final itself. Mr. Von Karma, I'd like to ask you some more about how long they were together for, if you don't mind. If you must. Gusto's sense of design is subpar and Frost was an...
Hold it!
Before you ask, I'm not objecting to your characterization of Mr. Gusto's design sense. Yeah, he admitted himself he isn't all that great. He made what he alleged to be a likeness of me. Just thinking of the abomination he came out with turns my stomach. Yeah, I kinda like the guy's work. An artistically rich amateur and an artistically impoverished professional. In a way, it was inevitable that they would wind up working together. The two cooperated until the day before the final, then decided to compete for their own merits. You really believe that they were cooperating until the day before the finals and just simply stopped? That seems a little strange to me, wouldn't you? I've told you the truth. Whether you find it strange or not is none of my concern. I was concerned enough to try to hide it from you only a few minutes ago, though. Which means there must have been a reason for that. Based on Mr. Tangaroa's assessment, it sounded as if Mr. Frost's entry for the final was the clear winner. Which means he must have still been working with Mr. Gusto, right? That's precisely what I was thinking. I must have some evidence that proves they were cooperating right through the finals. Okay, what evidence? Ah.
Objection!
Damn it, no, I just wanted to like look at. Okay, wait. I just wanted to look at the photos. Oh, I can't look at the photos, really? That proves they were cooperating right up until the finals. Okay, the only evidence I probably haven't presented here was it's the cookbook. Did one of them want the cookbook?
Objection!
Damn it, it's not this one.
Coburn 64 backseats with. Up yours, Mr. Von Karma.
We're wrong, Coburn. We are wrong. Von Karma is kicking us. Okay, I need to save Scum. Taunt wouldn't hurt though. Wait, do I have to present Scone's testimony?
Objection!
Damn it, it's not this one.
Objection!
Damn it, it's also not the cookbook. Okay, I think it's Cone's statement on the last statement.
Objection!
Okay, damn it. Here we go. They weren't working together during the finals. I find that a little hard to believe. Miss Cone is on the record as having described Mr. Frost's creations as scrumptious. And while he was certainly skilled, I doubt even he could have become a world-class confectioner overnight. It seems far more likely to me that he and Mr. Gusto were still cooperating during the finals. How many times must I explain this to you? Assertions require proof, and one person's entirely subjective statement is not proof of anything. Besides, even amateurs can occasionally make delicious food. Perhaps Frost was simply lucky. My wife, for example, is an amateur whose cooking puts first-class chefs to shame. How is that not an entirely subjective statement? Furthermore, you are ignoring another crucial part of the pharmacist's testimony. Namely, that she also described some of Frost's work as having been unbearably salty. In other words, your evidence actually shows that Frost failed to produce the perfect confectionery. Disc. No more objections, I take it. There must be some way I can prove that Gusto and Frost were still collaborating. Mr. E? There's something that's been on my mind. Yes, what is it, Eddie? Mr. Frost's entry for the finals, wouldn't it have taken a while to make? I would imagine so. Making flavored water, freezing it all, and then carving two whole sculptures? Could he really have done all that and helped Mr. Gusto with his work? If it was me, I'd have barely gotten as far as the setting the flavored water up to freeze part. I just can't see how Mr. Frost could have pulled it off. Perhaps there's some lawyerly instinct in you after all, Eddie. Your ponderings certainly point to another possibility. Eddie's right. Mr. Frost would have needed to freeze his own large blocks of flavored ice to create his art. And there wouldn't have been time to do that during the contest itself. So what must Mr. Frost have done in order to finish his flavored ice entry within the time limit? Make the ice the day before the final. He must have made the flavored ice the day before, then all he would have to do is sculpt it. What are you muttering about now? Oh, I'm sorry, I just realized something, that's all. I realized that you're correct. What? Mr. E? I hope you know what you're doing. Oh? Accepting defeat at last, are we? The only thing I'm accepting is that perhaps one of the things you said was true. They were helping one another right up until the day before the final. Just as you said, the day before the final really did mark the end of their collaboration. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which should have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead.
Objection!
Perhaps not, but I imagine Mr. Gusto could tell us, so why don't you let us speak with him? Or do you still insist your interrogation was as thorough as you claim? How dare you call my methods into question? That's not my intention. I just don't understand why you would obstruct a perfectly valid line of inquiry. Give me one good reason as to why you're keeping Mr. Gusto from me. One good reason? Certainly. The how and why of Frost and Gusto's collaboration have absolutely no bearing.
Objection!
How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason, that could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Could it indeed? Then why did Gusto himself tell me all about it? Why did the man you seem so keen on accusing share the details of his collaboration with the prosecution? Please tell me you have some proof to back up your preposterous suspicions this time. Mr. Gusto only acted suspiciously one time that we knew of. And I imagine Mr. Von Karma is aware of exactly what that suspicious action is. Which means this is probably a trap. Huh. Well, cat got your tongue. But even if this is a trap, I can't back down now. Mr. Gusto snuck into Mr. Frost's room and we still don't know why. That fact alone is reason enough to suspect him. Tisk, tisk, tisk. If that's your only concern, then allow me to clear it up for you. I knew it. It was a trap. I was saving this for the trial, but consider it a taste of things to come. Plus, I'd hate for the proceedings to drag on because of your needless interjections. Here, take a look at this. That's Gusto and Frost and their sons. A photo of Frost, Gusto, and their sons. Gusto's son visited his father daily up through the semi-final. Gusto snuck into Frost's room in order to retrieve this photograph. But why? It seems their sons attended the same elementary school. Gusto was concerned at the fact that Mr. Frost and his acquaintance might place him under undue suspicion. A concern that you have just proved was entirely well-founded. Gusto's actions make perfect sense, and you have given me no reason to believe otherwise. Yeah. He's never gonna let me talk to Mr. Gusto. Now, if you are quite done obstructing my investigations, I have things to be getting on with. That smug, self-righteous jerk. I'll give him something to be getting on with. What do we do, Mr. E? Mr. Tangaroa was finished if we can't figure something out. Things to be getting on with. What exactly could those things be? He has a body, a murder weapon, and a suspect in custody. If the prosecution means to pursue Mr. Tangaroa, surely they'll have all they need. So why is Mr. Von Karma still investigating the scene of the crime? Something on your mind, Mr. E? We're missing something. Something important. Mr. Von Karma has everything he needs to proceed with the prosecution of Mr. Tangaroa. And yet, he still doesn't seem entirely confident of this case. If he was, why refuse to share information with Detective Tad? Who else? I haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. Yeah, we don't have the autopsy report yet. Okay. No autopsy report. 24 hours post-murder and there's still no autopsy report. In addition, we still haven't solved the mystery of what happened to the evidence that went missing. Yeah, the chocolate block, right? Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. You're right. Don't remember anybody mentioning they'd remove the blood along with the body. Evidence that turned up not in Mr. Tangaroa's room but in a most unusual place. It's a match. The blood in the fountain is Frost's. The blood in the fountain. So there were no traces of Mr. Frost's blood left in Mr. Tangaroa's room. Yet we found some in the fountain instead. Why? Okay. So is this a connection? Okay. Mr. Frost's blood went missing from the crime scene. But traces of it showed up in the fountain. Why go to the trouble of removing the blood from the scene after the body had been discovered? And why only the blood? Surely the body would have also been in the way. Wait, did someone have moved the body aside to get to the blood? Did someone move the body aside in order to get the blood that was in the chest? Well, this is the only like connection left, right? So the body might have been moved aside or even removed from the scene of the crime entirely. After all, as far as we know, there's still no autopsy report. We've learned plenty about the murder weapon and the suspect, but very little about the body itself. Our assumption thus far has been that the body had been recovered by the forensics team. But what if that assumption is false? What if Mr. Von Karma wouldn't show Detective Bad the autopsy report out of something other than spite? What if we've been thinking about this the wrong way around all along? The question isn't why did Mr. Von Karma hold back information about the body? It's did Mr. Von Karma even have any information about the body in the first place? But... how do things look from that angle? Perhaps the body hadn't been removed by the police in order to carry out an autopsy. Whoa! There's an outline. I assume that was where they took the body, right? Perhaps it had already been removed and hidden away by the culprit before their arrival. Mr. E, we've both heard the rumors about Mr. Von Karma's questionable methods. Fabricated witness statements, shady deals, forged evidence even. Sure, everybody's heard of that stuff, but what's that got to do with us right now? I would never judge a person on the basis of rumors alone. Even Mr. Von Karma, I've tried my best not to let my preconceptions color our interactions with him. Nonetheless, it appears he may indeed be willing to twist the truth to his own ends. Twist the truth? You mean he's been playing dirty? I fear he might have been and still is. And I'm not about to let him get away with it. I'm returning to the prosecutor's office. Don't breathe a word about anything to that infernal attorney. Yes, sir.
Hold it!
Hold it! Yes, what is it now? I have a few questions, Mr. Von Karma, about a certain fact you've been keeping from us. Really? You mean to call the methods of an officially sanctioned investigation into question yet again? I'm warning you, if you obstruct the police in their work any further, there will be consequences. It's not the police I have an issue with, Mr. Von Karma. It's you. What? Isn't it on the prosecution to work out who the real culprit of a crime is? What foolishness is this? I have no intention of debating what the prosecution's role is or is not with the likes of you. But let me make one thing clear. My job is to identify suspects and ensure that every last one of them is convicted at all costs. Believe me when I say I leave absolutely no room for doubt when I present my perfect, unassailable cases. Unassailable cases. And how far would you go for your perfect cases? Would you create facts out of whole cloth, perhaps? Huh. And I thought you had outdone yourself already. But now you intend to accuse me of fabricating evidence? I do. Because it is why you've done nothing but hinder Detective Bad from doing his job at every turn. What are you talking about? You didn't shut him out of the investigation because you wanted him to keep an eye on us. You did it to stop him from finding out that you don't have the body. What? He doesn't have the body? Ridiculous. You're clutching at straws. I will tolerate no more of your preposterous slander. Then allow us to examine it. Prove me wrong if you can. Tisk. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I'm afraid you'll have to try a little harder than that. I am under no obligation whatsoever to prove your baseless accusations one way or another.
Objection!
As you must have seen for yourself, a piece of bloodied chocolate is missing from the scene of the crime. Why did it disappear, and where did it go? What does it matter? Some blood went missing from the chest where the body was found. So what? So what indeed? That is precisely my question. If the body was still at the scene when the police got here, removing that blood would accomplish nothing. However, let us suppose for a moment that the body was not. If someone had wanted to erase any trace of what had happened in that room, then it all makes perfect sense. What is this petty obsession with the bloodstain? But since it's so important to you, why don't you tell me where you believe it went? Of course, after all, evidence is everything, as you never tire of telling us. I believe this should back up my theory quite nicely. What evidence do I have that shows where the blood from Mr. Tangaroa's room went? It's the fountain.
Take that!
Traces of the victim's blood were found in the fountain, along with traces of chocolate from Mr. Tangaroa's room. I believe the missing piece of blood-stained chocolate was dumped into the stream that flows into the fountain, which strongly points towards one certain fact. Someone purposefully disposed of the blood after the body had been removed from the chest. Mr. Von Karma, where did you find the body? You didn't find it, did you? Answer me. You, where did you get your hands on that kind of evidence? You have neither the authority nor the means to carry out that kind of analysis on the fountain water. No, but I do. Curse you, bad. You've been a thorn in my side from the moment you were assigned. Well, no longer. As of now, you're officially off the case. I was barely on it in the first place. Mr. Von Karma, you still haven't answered my question. Will you admit it? Will you confirm that no body was ever recovered? Tisk, tisk, tisk. It's really quite the claim, you know? And one for which you'll never find any proof for, I'm afraid. What must I do to get an answer out of him? Now, if you don't mind, I have given you quite enough of my precious time already. I look forward to destroying you in court, Gregory Edgeworth. Your precious logic and theories won't save you then. Nothing will. Mark my words, Von Karma, your methods will be your undoing. No matter how you try to hide the truth, I'll bring it all to light in the end. Forgive me, Detective. I didn't mean to put you in a difficult position. Don't sweat it. I was always gonna end this way. Honestly, nobody's ever sidelined me the way he did before. First time for everything, huh? I think you might be right about the body being missing. I am, and I'll prove it in court. Well, if there's anything I can do to help, just say the word. Since, I'm off the case now. That's very kind, and I'm sorry to keep asking favors of you, Detective Bad. But there's one more thing. One more thing. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? Come on, let me in the secret. Alright, Eddie. The detective and I were just arranging a little insurance for the trial. I think we have enough to see Mr. Tangaroa acquitted. But I'd prefer to have an ace in the hole just in case. And what is it? You'll find out in the courtroom. Wait, what? You're letting me join you? Of course I am. You are my assistant after all. Ha! I'll be more than that by next year. I'll be a full-fledged attorney, We can take on Mr. Von Karma together. Indeed. Though I'm hoping we'll have freed Mr. Tangaroa by then. But if we're up against Mr. Von Karma, I guess we can't rule out the possibility that this might take some time. Right, but we'll do everything we can in the meantime. I know you can beat Mr. Von Karma, Mr. E. I believe in you. We can't allow Tangaroa to remain in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And we won't. I'll expose Mr. Von Karma's lies if it's the last thing I do. To be continued. To be continued. The identity of the body. Alright, this is present day now. Alright, April 2nd, 2:10 p.m. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. Let us hope they make a new game after this one. I am hoping for Ace Attorney 7, Anayalel. So far, I haven't completed this yet, and I still haven't played Great Ace Attorney 2. So after this, maybe after some time, we'll play Great Ace Attorney 2. And I hope they release Ace Attorney 7 soon. Alright. And that's pretty much how things went down. Those are the facts of IS-7 as far as I'm concerned. Finally learning the truth about my father's last case. So what happened at the trial? Well, we lost. Von Karma did a real number on us. Really? You couldn't prove that Mr. Tangaroa was innocent? Oh, we could prove it all, right? He had a decent little pile of evidence in our favor. Problem was, we underestimated Von Karma. He fought even dirtier than we'd feared. I can imagine. Secure a conviction at all costs. That was always his guiding principle. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Anywho, the trial dragged on and on. Whole thing took about a year in the end. I'll never forget the day the verdict came down, December 28th that following year. It's April now, so ooh mama, we're talking over 17 years ago. Time sure does fly, huh? December 28th. I was there that day 17 years ago, sitting in the courtroom gallery. Just before the trial got started, Gregory noticed that Samson was looking even worse than usual. Turns out the poor guy had finally reached his limit. It was so bad, even said he wanted to be found guilty. Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him? Yeah, Von Karma got what he'd been pushing for from the very beginning. And when Gregory tried to drop the bombshell about there being no body to speak of, he learned that Von Karma had used the power of the police to head him off at the pass. Even had himself a fake autopsy report, but that wasn't the end of it. Von Karma had gotten Samson to falsely testify against himself to being an accessory to murder in court. Combined with his confession, the poor guy's goose was well and truly cooked. But Gregory still had his ace in the hole though. The same ace he had asked Detective Bad to help him with. Exactamundo, he knew he needed one last card to play if they squeezed the confession out of Samson. So he had Bad recorded all of Samson's interrogations. I guess Detective Bad really wanted to know the truth too, huh? We all did, but he was a trooper. Stayed with the case even after Von Karma took him off it. He was tied up in some other big cases too. Good old Bad, they don't make him like that anymore. Anyway, Gregory presented the recordings as proof that Samson's confessions was coerced. And you know what? It almost worked. Cop named Ian Sideman got fired. Samson's interrogator and the initial detective before Bad, he took the fall for pretty much the whole thing. But Von Karma didn't get away scot-free. In fact, he was disciplined by the chief prosecutor for the one and only time in his 40-year career. Still, Samson himself couldn't stomach another day in court. So when that guilty verdict came down, it didn't just signal the end of that day, but for the whole said affair. I don't remember a lot myself, but my father's face when they declared Mr. Tangaroa guilty. I was a young child at the time, but even I could tell how much he was hurting inside. Gregory wanted to appeal the ruling, of course. He would have done anything to clear Samson's name. But then, well, you know what happened next. Poor guy, he never got the chance. That was his last case. So that was the case before all this happened. I should have left with him that day. I'll always blame myself for not doing that. But I shoved that aside and obsessed over something else instead. Or rather, someone else. I hated what you did. Hated you for choosing to stick with Von Karma. Wait, but Edgeworth was adopted by Von Karma that time, right? I hope you can forgive me. No, you had every right to hate me. I went on to become a prosecutor as planned, and that's when Von Karma showed me this case file. According to these records, Mr. Tangaroa was convicted as the main culprit in Mr. Faust's murder. Nope, that's not right. Samson was convicted as an accessory to murder. Strange, the file clearly states that he was the perpetrator. Plus, I'm fairly certain that all of Mr. Von Karma's cases were successfully solved. Mind if I take a peek at those? This file's been doctored. The part about the verdict, it's been changed. What? Here, feast your peepers in this. Suspect data, Tangaroa. Convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. That's a copy of the file they have on record at the courthouse. Then why is my copy so different? Well, you said it came from Von Karma, yeah? My guess is he didn't want Gregory's son thinking there was a murderer out there still at large. Didn't want you looking into it again before the statute of limitations was up. So everything I believed about the case was a lie? Like they say, we all gotta start somewhere. What's important is you know what's what now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but the truth's still out there, you know? I inherited Samson's case when your old man passed. Prosecution handed it off to somebody else too. The great Von Karma wasn't going to bother facing off against a rookie like me, was he? Anyway, long story short, the killer was never found, and Samson was found guilty instead. That's terrible. Is there really nothing we can do to help him? Not without the real perp, I'm afraid. Until then, his confession stands. Speaking of which, I didn't find out until after the verdict had been handed down, but Von Karma had threatened Samson and made him a deal. Told him if he didn't confess, he'd make sure Judy was convicted instead. Wow, that's a threat. How could he? Samson knew there was no way Judy could have done it, of course. But he wasn't going to take any chances, so he did what he was told and confessed to keep her safe. Now, riddle me this, Mousy boy. Why do you think your Uncle Eddie just happened to be in the prison the day Bronco Knight died? Ah, that's right. You were there to see Mr. Tangaroa. Bingo. Judy and I both promised we'd visit him every day. I didn't quite keep that promise. But Judy did. She never missed one visit in all these years. We didn't see Tangaroa there. Anyway, come rain or shine, she always showed up. But none of that changes the fact that Samson is still being unduly punished day after day. How heartbreaking. We gotta do something, Mr. Fender. Well, kiddo, that's actually why we came here. The ice sculptures are back on display just like they were all those years ago. And we're going to see what we can find out. Right, Malcerino? I'm a prosecutor, Fender. I don't look at these things in the same way as you or my father. Miles. But that doesn't matter right now. Speaking not as a prosecutor, but as Miles Edgeworth. I want to know the truth behind both these cases, and I'm not leaving until I do. You really are old Gregory's son, through and through. Alrighty then, now that's sorted, we can really get to work. Good thing I brought the IS-7 case file and evidence with me today, huh? Here, documents first. Who doesn't love paperwork, am I right? The parts in red ink are my annotations. Annotations. Thank you, Fender. Alright. Okay. Case overviews. Location: Samson Tangaro's mansion, Tangaro's room. Date: December 24th, 18 years ago. Murder weapon: rock salt lamp. Prosecutor: Manfred. Defense attorney: Gregory. Note: statute of limitations expired 3 years ago on December 24th. Samson Tangaro, age 39. Artie Frost, also known as Paul Halik under which name, was renowned sculptor in France. Contestant in the confectionery contest. Body was discovered in Tangaro's room. Cause of death was blood loss. No detailed autopsy report due to the body going missing. And this is the case photo. Alright. And here's some evidence for you. Enjoy! There's quite a few, so I'd take a minute to scope them out if I were you. Small mountain of evidence from the IS-7 incidents received from Fender. Yes, I see. I'll take a look at them in a bit. You know, our current case is just full of loose threads, come to think of it. Wow, this is a lot. Alright, so we have this. So we have the cookbook, we have the finger marks, we have the salt lamp. And it's just a photo now, not the actual lamp. And family photo. Indeed. The key players of that incident 18 years ago who just happened to get caught up in another incident. The ice sculptures in the Winter Wing that are perfect replicas of the ones from 18 years ago. The poison gas attack in the Autumn Wing, which has been disguised to look like the Winter Wing. The two chemicals that were found inside the Pisces statue's display case, ubiquium and asphyxion, that form a poisonous gas when mixed together. The victim of the gas attack, Carmelo Gusto, is no stranger to the events of 18 years ago, and who is still unconscious and undergoing treatment in the medical room. And finally, we come to the body floating face down in the fountain. And the fact that the ice sculptures have melted, just as they did all those years ago. The events of the present day would appear to be intimately linked with the events of the past, which means they may be able to help us learn more about what happened 18 years ago. Sounds good to me. Let's get investigating.
Objection!
Oh no. Oh no, you don't. Aren't you forgetting somebody? We have old pompous brat here. I could have sworn this is my investigation. Eustace is quite right. I do hope you aren't intending to obstruct him in his duties, Mr. Edgeworth. And Judge Mommy is here as well. I would hate to have to add a guilty to my report to the committee. What am I guilty of now? Of course not. I am simply offering once again to do what I can to help for this investigation. Your offer is duly noted, and duly declined. Oof. She isn't pulling any punches. Jesus, that kid's a dick. Yo, Fries, what's up? Yes. How are you doing, Fries? Welcome on in. Have you played this already? The identity of the body from the fountain is currently being ascertained. It is only a matter of time until we have all the information we need. Perhaps I can help you speed that process along. I think I have an idea of who our mystery victim might be. What? Really? Then you have to tell me. It's the law. Very well. I introduced you to the series? Really? I thought we played, like, these games before and just, like, dropped by Because you want to see how I played this. The body in the fountain may also be a visitor from the past. Wait. The only person is Frost. His body went missing not long after it was discovered. This is the only Okay. You're alive, you're alive, you're alive, you're alive. Everyone in this page is alive. You're in prison. You're a pompous jerk.
Take that!
It's the spin-offs you never knew about. Oh, alright. So, we have Investigations, which is this. This is the second game in Investigations. I believe you were there when Dash played the first game. And I did also play the Great Ace Attorney. I've only played the first game in the Great Ace Attorney, but I have yet to play the second game, which I'll probably play after I complete this. So, yeah, once that's done, I've played all the games in the Ace Attorney series except the Professor Layton spin-off. So I am hoping there will be an Ace Attorney 7 that comes out soon. Alright. I believe the body in the fountain is that of the man who was murdered here 18 years ago. Mr. Artie Frost. What? You're saying that poor Chillywinks? Wait, who the heck is Chillywinks or Artie or whoever is that you're talking about? Artie Frost is a famous sculptor, Eustace. Although he was better known as Paul Halleck. The sculptures on display here are all his works. No way. Sounds like he did well for himself. Always good to encounter a fellow winner. Mr. Frost was also the victim in the IS-7 incident. Judge Cavell knows about the IS-7 incident. Mr. Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident is an 18-year-old case. And according to the police records, the victim's body was recovered and an autopsy duly carried out. Sure, that's what the records say, but the records can always be trusted. What are you insinuating? That while the records say stuff like body totally recovered, the defense back then begged to differ. Not that it stopped the prosecution from shutting them down hard, of course. Yes, this is Winner. What? Really? What is it, Eustace? The body. We've got an ID. Some sculptor called Frost or something, so I guess Edgeworth called it. Goddess of Justice. So my father's deductions were right all along. Well, Judge Cavell, I'd say this changes things, wouldn't you? Perhaps now you'd admit that I might be of use to this case, more than a certain junior prosecutor anyway. No fair, you were trying to steal the win. I'm doing no such thing. All I wanted is to uncover the truth. And if we're going to get to the bottom of what happened here, we'll need to work together. You do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern.
Objection!
Whoa there, Judge G. I think you might be wrong about that. Another of your interruptions, Mr. Fender. Yep, see, I was on the defense team for IS-7, so this case is very much my concern. I was one of the pesky kids pushing the theory that the body had actually gone missing. The prosecutor at that time may have brushed us off, but you can't deny the testimony of your eyes. Or to put it a little more bluntly, the prosecution's case was rotten from the ground up. When there's been a miscarriage of justice caused by the prosecution, it's the committee's job to fix it, no? And who better to help you unpick the mess than someone who was there at the time? Unless you have an ulterior motive. Judge Cavell seems to know the facts of the IS-7 incident in some detail. In which case, I suspect she must be here on the committee's behalf. Your the connection to the case is noted, Mr. Fender, but I fail to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth. He's the son of the original defense attorney and the protege of the case's lead prosecutor. And if that's not enough for you, he was at the trial too. I think it's just possible he might have a little something to bring to the table, don't you? Very well, you may both assist in the investigation, but only if you refrain from interfering with the work of others. The Winter Wing is off limits for now. This room, however, is all yours. Alrighty, great to hear we're on the same wavelength, G. Why don't we bring it in to show we're all on the side of justice? Do not test me, Mr. Fender. Your permission to investigate can be revoked at any time. Duly noted, Your Honor. This is a turn up for the books, huh, Milesy? We get to do our thing after all. Thanks to your immeasurable help as always. No sweat. Besides, I was mostly doing it for me. Okay, I'll be investigating my own thing, so just holler if you find something interesting. I will. Well, okay, shall we? Heck yeah, let the investigation commence. We're still unclear on two key facts. How Mr. Frost's body came to be where we found it and the source of Ubiquium. You're right, we need some more intel. Indeed, let's focus on the Ubiquium first and foremost. It's used in stuff like dish soap and paint, right? Correct. It's also bright red in color and has a distinctive minty fragrance. Interesting. Okay, sounds like we know what we're looking for. Begin investigation. It seems the police have already removed the body. But why did the body of a victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it all rotten and stuff? Did it slowly shuffle its way here? Need I remind you that zombies aren't real? It seems likely that the body was preserved somehow. Really? Is that even possible? Hey, Mr. Forensics guy, anything to report? Yes, ma'am. Traces of both Ubiquium and Asphyxion have been detected in the fountain. I'm gonna say they were probably carried here by the stream from the Autumn Wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analyzed as we speak. There's sugar in the fountain? Where would it even have come from? The body's been taken back to the labs where autopsy's underway. And how's the rest of the fountain looking? Rather beautiful actually, sir. The water's crystal clear and kind of soothing. Almost as if there wasn't a body floating in it not so long ago, huh? It's a sculpture of a brave warrior battling against a serpent. Did Paul Halik make this one too, Mr. Edgeworth? He did. It seems he was fascinated by fantasy and mythology when he was a young man. This piece embodies the tragic yet gritty determination of the young as they face an impossible situation. It's called the math test. Talk about relatable. Statues of a man and woman in old-timey clothes. Did Paul Halik make these as well? Yes, it seems he created them later in his life once he had begun to make a name for himself. His wife pushed him to sculpt the two of them as ancient gods, and he couldn't say no to his beloved. The title is The Beautiful Goddess Venus and Her Humble Servant. Wow, talk about putting your goddess on a literal pedestal. Oh, Butts is still here. It's a man with a moon-shaped head and a woman with a sun-shaped head. The man's got a real pained look in his eyes though. Is this another Paul Halik piece? Yes, from his younger years when he was something of a dreamer. He depicted those closest to him by means of a motif taken from nature. This piece is titled My Parents. Guess the mom shone brightest in that house. This bounce tea set is laid out neatly on the serving card. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. Understandably so. The cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all of this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost. Interesting. In that case, I think we'd better take a closer look. So this dishware was made by Artie Frost. It looks very fancy. Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that this set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. So let's try not to touch any of it unless we absolutely have to. Whoa, this stuff's really worth that much? Stop it, Kay. I can see your eyes lighting up. Mr. Bound must really have been a fan of Mr. Frost like Mr. Fender said to still have this. Okay, interesting that we have this now as evidence. Hey, Edgy! What is it? You be careful with that teapot, you hear? Why is Larry so concerned all of a sudden? Honored guests. I can pour you a cup if you like. Miss Bound. Judy. I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. Sorry. Oh my god. You two knock yourselves out. Thank you for the offer. Yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. 2 cups coming right up. This smells great. Wow, it tastes even better than it smells. What type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Ceylon, I believe. It's usually identifiable by its citrus aroma, but... Miss Bound, is this the same blend you served this morning? Oh yes. Is it alright? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh no, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times. I can't see what could account for the difference. Hey, what's the big deal? Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will ya? What's gotten under your skin, Larry? Nothing. You're just rude, that's all. You don't even try to call me by the right name. It's Loris Donim, dang it. You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. Well, that was childish even for him. Wow, what happened there? Let's ask him about it later, shall we? Talking to Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's the culprit, but it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. Tablecloth draped over the cart is pure white and completely spotless. And it's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, clear my mind, and whoosh! Okay, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that would be. Aw, come on. What's the worst that can happen? Even if it does go all sideways, we'll just wind up with a cool tea-colored tie-dye. Yes, well, I'd rather it remained white. Plus, I don't think Miss Bound would appreciate us meddling with it. Really? But there are so many other colors that would totally work. Pink, sky blue, tea leaves brown. A caddy containing Ceylon tea leaves. It's a well-crafted tin canister designed to prevent moisture and sunlight from damaging its contents. Not a bad thing to use considering the quality of the blend Miss Bound serves. Is that everything? Those are tulips by the door, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, it leads to the spring wing. Ah, spring, a popular time to move house, which makes it open season for great thieves. Housebreaking is a little beneath a great thief, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I guess you're right. Hey there, Marzlarino. What's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what happened is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. I guess I better step up my game too then. This game seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It's got the lot, melting statues in the Winterwing, and even the murder victim's body. But how did nobody ever figure out that the body had gone missing? Frost had no family apart from his son. And well, the kid kinda vanished. Nobody's seen him since around the time of the incident. Gusto's son too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. What? And they were never found? Gusto's boy wasn't, not as far as I heard, anyhow. Guess Frost's kid turned up in the end though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body, and no need for anybody to find out they didn't happen. Interesting. What about his wife or his ex-wife? If they filed their fake autopsy report and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. I still can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. Wait. Is this the fake autopsy report of Von Karma in Edgeworth's last case? Why is there a lift cart just sitting here out in the open? Guess somebody must have been moving something heavy. The top of the platform seems to be wet. You know, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this thing somewhere before. You mean like 18 years ago? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. I last saw it in Frost's room. He must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. If you had one of these, you could move giant lumps of ice around, no sweat. Interesting. Ooh, just think of the possibilities. I could really use one of these. Still doesn't explain what it's doing here though. Bit of a head scratcher. But we should give it a think, yeah. Indeed, after all, it just might have something to do with our case. From the color and aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of spilled tea. And look, there's a small chunk of ceramic in it. Oh, interesting. Ceramic fragment found in a puddle of tea. The design looks familiar. I guess somebody must have broke something. I know that in Sinia, and a certain high-strung somebody just might know a little something too. It's a selection of trophies won by Paul Halik, or rather Artie Frost. Evidently, he was a very well-respected artist. Well, you've got one too, Mr. Edgeworth, so it's about time I won one too. Guess I'll have to find some thieving contests to enter. Or you could set something up, something with a nice ceremony at the end, all that. Yes, followed by a swift round of arrests. Mr. Winter was very clear that you're only around to investigate in this room, so I'm afraid I can't let you pass. Sorry, sir. Wouldn't make much difference if you did. Officer, you're standing in front of a wall. Oh, but we all know a few bricks won't stop you, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, sir. Wow. He actually sounds kinda scared of you. Just what kind of reputation do I have down at the precinct? Here's Gummy. Seems the elevator is only accessible to select individuals. I wonder what's upstairs. Among other things, the medical room. That's where Mr. Gusto's being treated. I hope he's alright. We've got some questions that need answering as soon as he wakes up. Since there's no way of knowing when that might be, we should explore other avenues in the meantime. Okay, that's the same. Yada yada yada. The door here is marked with a nice autumnly looking tree, and yet it leads to the Winterwing. I suppose it's all part of the deception. I could steal leaves if you like, make things a little more wintry. I think you'd better leave them alone, Kay. This thing in front of the door is a furthriite, right? Yes, they're usually associated with winter, but this door leads to the autumn wing. I suppose it's all part of someone's elaborate ruse. I could paint it red for that autumny feel. Evergreens stay green all year round, gay. Hence their name. Sure, I knew that. Hello there, dearie. Still investigating away, are you? Found anything interesting? No, dearie. Well, nothing much anyway. Silly girl, that wasn't a dearie moment. That was more of a lamp kit. Sweetheart is for when you're being sympathetic, of course, and treasure is for when they're in a tiz. Love is for people you're not that keen on, and petal is when you're trying to get someone's attention. Wow, I didn't realize there were so many rules. Mr. Edgeworth Petal, I hope you're getting all this down. Don't even try it, gay. Oh, dearie me. Oh, so I can't talk to her. Okay, butts. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something, so just tell me what it is. Whoa, quit it with the glare off, you two. It's weird. Ah, come on, gay. You know me better than that. I wasn't staring. I was struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Edgy, he was glaring. Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit it! I already told you, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you ever again, starting now. It's getting me nowhere. I suppose I'll have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. Come on, Larry, what are you hiding? Not saying. Look at you two. This is no time for kids' games. Well, I certainly wasn't playing. It's pretty clear Loris isn't going to talk to you. Oh, he'll talk. Don't you worry about that. I need to know what Larry's hiding, and I think I might have an idea of what it is. Perhaps presenting him with the right piece of evidence will force him to conclude. He broke this thing. Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why would you show me that? Tell me, what is it about Miss Bounce tea set that's got you so agitated? If you won't tell me, then perhaps you'd prefer me to explain to Judge Cavell. Wait, don't make me look bad in front of Verity. She thinks I'm a sensible, cool, clean-cut guy. I don't want her to see the real me, the real low-down, dirty me. I'm not real sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. But if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk. Alright, I'll talk. Alright, Larry, enough is enough. Now confess. Is this any way to treat your best friend, Edgy? Is this any way for you to treat yours by lying to him? Hiding things? I get the picture already, so stop glaring at me like that. I'll tell you everything, okay? Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour her one for her. But I got distracted, my hand slipped, and smash! I broke the teapot, a priceless work of art. It's in pieces because of me. Damn. No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from. Okay, wait, so this is a fake teapot then. Wait, this is still the same thing. But said he was his best friend. Oh yeah. And then Edward say, "Oh, would you do the same to me?" Ouch, you really messed this one up, Laurice. See, Edgy, everyone's going to think less of me now. Judy's never going to forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do you any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. My teapot? I see. I'm sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint your portrait. I'll paint you 50 portraits. Please, Mr. Donem. It's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramics on the floor? Wow, you're blind. Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that's safely disposed of. The teapot in question was designed by Artie Frost, correct? I understand it was something you've long treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. That's far from the end of the world. Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be? I can't believe this, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kindest. Ah, this other teapot you're talking about. It's the one sitting on top of the cart right now, right? What do you mean? Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces in the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw that other pot under there, so I took it out and basically switched the two pots. Oh, interesting. So there's an extra pot. Oh, I see. Yep, and that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one, I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? I'm sorry. It's really quite alright. Thank you for being so honest. See, Edgy, isn't Judy just the absolute best? I trust you won't take advantage of her kindness and will make amends somehow. I sure will. Once I make it as an artiste, I'm going to give her one of my paintings. She was one of my models after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. Don't you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while? Oh, but I will be keeping out of her way because I sketched her and the others already. Her and the others? Keen to see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of some ravishing beauties. Wanna see? Interested in Laurice's ravishing beauties, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid you've greatly misjudged, Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time. Unusual details? Nothing's unusual about these. They're my best work yet. Really? Now I want to see them too. Aw, you're a sweetheart, Kay. Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? I suppose we might as well take a look. So, these sketches of yours. Seriously, Edgy, if you wanted to check out my art, you should have just said from the get-go. Here, feast your eyes on this. Oh, hello. What am I looking at here? I told you already, ravishing beauties. Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know. That's Verity, there's Judy, and somebody else. Why did you draw them all on the same page? Well, I meant to draw the room at first, just something to pass the time. And then I saw one beauty and another, and well, I just scribbled them all down as I went. So these were all drawn at different times? Huh? Yeah, I guess. I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page though. Wow, you did? I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you actually saw? Of course! You think I draw things I can't see, like using my imagination? Nope, these are 100% true to life, right down to the exact shade of each color. So the colors are accurate. Interesting. Much as it pains me to admit it, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. The serving card and the sketch, for example. If I compare to the one here in the room, there's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order. I could borrow this page for a while. Could I borrow this page for a while, Larry? Sure thing. You want me to sign it for you? Just the page, please. Okay. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound? I had to go tell our visitors we're closed. Oh, and hand out a little something in apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about? Yes, a few things actually. Not least of all, the fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. The original ice sculptures melted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, you know what happened back then? In that case, you might also know I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set of replicas based on ththose photographs for this critics. But why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his great unfinished masterwork, and I wanted to see it's completed at last. Or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place after all. I see. Is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so similar? Alright, wait, let me just have a look at this. So interesting that the Delicious Cone was like getting something from the fountain or putting something in the fountain. And like, Gavel's just there. Judy's like pushing something, but the color of the card cloth is blue. Oh my, you really think they look alike? Perhaps I used some of the decorations from one and the other by accident. She's clearly lying, but I don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Fascinated by the work of the great Maurice Donim, huh? It's the composition, right? Not exactly. This light blue tablecloth, you painted that exactly as you saw it, correct? I already told you, everything is exactly as I saw it. But the tablecloth on the cart here in this room is white. Your head's so full of crazy theories, the simple stuff that passes you right by, huh? What's that look for? Listen, just before I drew that sketch, I was in the middle of some business with the cart with a tea set on it, okay? What kind of business? That's right, it was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it up all up when Judy came out of the winter wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pot, so I quickly dove out of sight. Sorry about that, excuse me. Alright, wait, Miss Bound came out of the winter wing? Yeah, and she was pushing a cart, a different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on it that I drew. And what did she do with this second serving cart? Well, I saw her wheel it into the summer wing, but I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts, the kind you can lift stuff on. A lift cart? Yeah, so I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had her down as the shy type, but it just goes to show you never know. Another serving cart and a lift cart. Is there maybe another tea set too? We'd better check with Miss Bound. Are there two serving carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? Oh, yes. Why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed us this sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Oh my god, Muz! Holy crap, Muz! Welcome on in. Muz, thank you for the raid. How are you doing? What were you doing? Mario Maker 2, then Grand Poo World 1. How was it? Anev using Moses emotes, nice. Did you play, did you start, I mean, did you continue Grand Poo World 1 or did you like, Did like just do endless. You're ending quite early tonight. That's something different from you. You usually go on up until later. You're doing some maker only a short one tonight. You'll be back in 10 hours. All right, nice, good to hear. You have an early start tomorrow, I assume. Oh, you have training in 5 hours, so you need to get to bed, dude. Get to bed. You need to get rested for training. But anyway, excuse me. Yo, Buke, welcome on in. All right. Yeah. Thank you for the raid. Everyone coming in from Muz's stream, welcome on in. If you don't know me, my name is Psycho. I'm a streamer from the Philippines who does variety content. Usually I play the Marios, but tonight we are playing Ace Attorney Investigations 2. We are on the second game, we are in the third case, and yeah, we're continuing this. And yes, thank you for the follow. If you don't know, all follows are anonymous, so you can continue to lurk at peace. So if you enjoy content like this and you enjoy Mario, which I will be playing soon, PM, yeah, consider giving the channel a follow, and you'll get notified when I go online the next time. Was no worry. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for the raid. Really do appreciate it. Get some rest so that you're well rested. Get some sleep so you're well rested for your training tomorrow. God, I cannot English anymore, even though I'm like reading English right in front of me. All right, let's continue this. It's light blue. Light blue? I'm afraid your friend must be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered and starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one on the part here in the fountain room, right? Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would replace it right away. Could the color of the tablecloth in the sketch simply be a mistake on Larry's part? Do you have any idea of what you might have been doing when the sketch was drawn? Let me see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties. I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. What exactly were you doing when the sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your card doesn't have a tea set on it. I was delivering some chocolates to the investigating officers. Aw, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there were a few leftovers, so here, for you both. I made them myself. I hope you like them. Woohoo! Thanks, Miss Bound. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. Handmade by Bound, slightly melted after being kept in her pocket. They're super sweet. Love them. Hehe. I'm very glad to hear it. They may not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. Okay, what are we missing? The investigation complete. Okay, do we have to speak with Pompous Brat here? Do you mind, Mr. Winner? You're in my way. I do mind, actually, and I'm not going anywhere. We'll just have to go around. Well, we just thought you might want to move to a better spot, that's all. What better spot? I demand you show it to me at once. Is that really all it takes to make you do whatever you want? Don't think you've gotten away with anything, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be reporting your actions to the committee. Do whatever you need to do, Judge Cavell, and we'll do the same. You are the self-styled great thief, correct? Mr. Edgeworth's association with such a character will be of interest to the committee, of course. Go ahead and report me to your stupid committee. I'll be the toast of the thieving community. Looks like Judge Cavell will have to think of some new threats if she wants to intimidate Kay. Okay, what have we not checked out yet? I think we need to present something to... Okay. There's some kind of connection between our cases and the IS-7 incident, isn't there, Mr. Edgeworth? Still too early to say for sure, but I find it hard to believe there's no connection at all. And IS-7 was your dad's case, right? So this can't be a coincidence. It's gotta be fate. truth is ours for the taking, so let's grab it and solve both cases at once. I appreciate the sentiment. I think our first order of business should be to find out where the ubiquium came from. Alright, we still have to investigate that. Okay, Hey, curves the musical. Okay, we have to ask where the chemicals came from. So I think you're the one we should ask. No, this is still the same. Should we talk to Fender now? Okay, so the ubiquium came from this room. No, or this room. Okay, what? No, wait. I have a logic connection, right? I suspect that the difference in aroma we notice is due to the teapots having been switched. You do? I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hadn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound just to be sure? Oh my god. Miss Bound, the difference in aroma we noticed, do you think it could have been because of the difference of the teapot? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty scent, rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must have been where the minty aroma is coming from. We have the minty thing. So leftover aroma and minty fragrance. Could ubiquium be in that teapot? The tea from the teapot Larry switched in from under the cart smelled fairly of mint. Is it time for another sing-along? No. I can't sing, sorry. Right. Miss Bound said she used that pot to make peppermint tea yesterday. Yes, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Miss Bound seemed more taken aback by the switching of the teapots than the breaking of one. You're right. You'd expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. But why? One of ubiquium's key characteristics is the minty fragrance. So what if she had been hiding some in that teapot? What? In the teapot? It's simply a possibility, but one worth investigating, I believe. Mr. Winner, any luck finding that ubiquium? Why does she have key in her hair? Play the first game. It was explained there. Oh. My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. And what about you? Don't tell me you know where it came from. I may have an idea. Huh, I knew it. If I can't find it, there's no chance a useless... What? You do know where it came from. Yes. Where? Miss Bound's teapot. Wow, nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a natural-born winner. It's not a prize, it's a vital piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence. Then I'll have one of the forensics people check it out. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly. The minty fragrance we noticed coming from it. I think it just might be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But, Mr. Edgeworth, surely you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. Nobody would have had the time or the opportunity to set that up except you. That's not exactly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during that time. Delicia for one. So you see, I'm not the only person who could have set it up all. Miss Cone is on our radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. So even if you did find some ubiquium in my teapot, I wouldn't have any idea what to do with it. Okay. All of a sudden, why did you say ubiquium? Right? But I suppose we should see what the test results say first. Miss Bang claims she doesn't know the first thing about making poison gas. I need to find a way to prove that she's lying. It's rather sus. Yep, kinda sus. Edgeworth speaking. Sir, it's me. Is everything alright, Detective? Everybody's left the Winter Wing. It's just me in here now. Which means I can tell you what we found. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation. But after the past week or so, I'm not about to stop him now. The exhibits in here are all completely melted. All that's left in the display cases is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in Taurus case rather than in the Gemini case though. Describe this stuff for me if you can. Yes, sir. It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it. But the one from the Gemini case had 3 different substances in it, which were sugar, salt, and blood. Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini's case sample? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. Oh, I also spoke over the radio with the forensics guy working the fountain. He said he just got word that the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. That might well prove to be a significant development. Gemini case analysis results data jotted down in my organizer. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir. We found out one of those light-emitting devices here in the Winter Wing too. There were a few of those being used in the Autumn Wing to disguise it as the Winter Wing, as I recall. It seems that the equipment from 18 years ago is more than just for show. I need to talk to Miss Cone about this. Anyhow, better be getting back to it. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lab about that blood. Yes, thank you, Detective. Was that Gummy? Seemed like he had a lot to say. He did. And all of it very useful. I'm going to prove that Miss Bounce claims about who could have set up the poison gas trap are false. I'll need to talk to a certain somebody else who was here 18 years ago. We have to talk to Scone, right? But first, is there anything else we missed? Okay, what do we have with our evidence? Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions if I may. Of course, dearie, fire away. Anything for you, Mousy Smalsy? And dear sweet little tooth decay. I mean, it's common knowledge what is poisonous, but you need to be a chemist to know what to do with it. Oh, Oh, interesting. You know something, Anna. I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Milesy Smiles. I'm not a fan of tooth decay either. Well, you'll just have to like it or lump it. I can't change a nickname once I've settled on it. Well, I guess we tried. What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the gallery's exhibits? There seem to be some pretty specialized items in use. Light-emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I brought her 4 lovely new salt lamps and I gave her the 4 pieces of luminous cloth I used for the contest. Wow, that's super generous of you. Hee hee. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course. That had better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought I was. Yes, back when you were a dear, sweet, innocent baby boy. What happened to you, eh? A dear, sweet, innocent baby boy, Mr. Fender? Can't quite picture that, I have to say. So, these decorations. They're all the same as the ones you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yep, salt lamps, glowing fabric, light-emitting doodads, the whole bit. There are 4 luminous cloths in use in the autumn wing, but I'm sure I saw another somewhere. Oh, it was in Scone's bag. Maybe I should jog her memory with something so Miss Scone will tell us more. Miss Scone, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make the poison gas that was used in the attack? Well, any pharmacist who's ever handled Infesticide Ultra would know for a start. After all, it says right there in the label, do not mix with products containing ubiquium ever. But what about a layperson? It's unlikely they'd know, wouldn't you say? I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they had a nose through the Ultimate Cookbook anyway. Prize from the contest 18 years ago. The recipe for making Infesticide Ultra, along with that, not mixing with ubiquium, it is in there, you know. Ultimate Cookbook contains instructions for creating poison gas. So you're familiar with the contents of the book? Oh yes, dear. I know it inside out. Because I work for the Tanga Road Group, you see. We're the company behind Cold Killer X. I'm sure you've heard of it. Nice throwback. Cold Killer X fights back sniffles and sneezes with ease, apparently. After Sammy Poople was found guilty, the company took custody of the book. But they only grant their most trusted people access to it, of course. Which means Miss Scone is one of these elites, I suppose. Okay, we need to present... You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, did you not, Miss Scone? Albeit somewhat grimier one. Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Shall I call it a dish towel then? Perhaps you used it to wipe up some sort of spillage? A spillage, he says. The cheek. That's a piece of highly specialized luminous cloth. Oh, I probably shouldn't have told you that. I think I'd like to know more a little about this highly specialized luminous cloth if you don't mind. Why didn't you want me to know about you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag? Oh, well, I suppose there's no point hiding it now, there. If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the autumn wing. So Larry's sketch of Miss Scone is of when she was trying to retrieve the cloth. At first, I thought it was one of the ones I'd given Moody Judy. One of the 4 you'd given to the gallery, correct? Exactly, but all 4 were being used in the autumn wing, weren't they? So I realized it must be the one that went missing all those years ago. I already had my Infesticide Ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my cloths turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was going to look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag and hoped for the best. I see. Oh, it does feel to get it off my chest though. Stress is no good for the complexion. Oh my god, so the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago, the one that the victim was wrapped, just happens to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. Okay, what? Who do we need to talk to now? Tell me, Fenrir, what kind of person is Miss Bound? Huh? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you've got a thing for her, Master. I do not. Chill, I'm just yanking your chain. Anyway, what can I say about Judes? Well, she's a real brave trooper for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 whole years like she asked for Samson? Even after his extended family kicked her out of this place. What? They threw her out? Yep, Judes wasn't technically part of the family, so there was nothing she could do. She had nothing, nobody, and no job after Samson took the fall. So she had no choice but to take what she'd taught her and make her own way in showbiz. She's retired from all that now, though. Yes, why did she retire? She finally made enough to buy the old place back. She even got the ultimate cookbook back from the Tangaroa group after they basically stole it. Interesting. Guess this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. So she just wanted it all back. She just wanted it back, all of it. Fenrir seems very sympathetic to Miss Bound's plight. From a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything of Mr. Tangaroa's for herself. Alright, so we have one thing to connect here, which is the ultimate cookbook and Bound's actions. Which probably proves Bound created the poison gas, right? The ultimate cookbook contained instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Miss Judy Bound. No way! You mean? I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. Investigation complete. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the test on the teapot. To be continued. Oh my god. I have a feeling this will still take long. Okay, Judy Bound's testimony part 1. Part 1. So this will take probably another 2 hours. Alright. So, I guess we'll stop here. So, let's let this load. I'll save. Let's go back to the main menu and we'll continue this tomorrow. So, alright. Okay, it seems that like the last part of the cases are the longest, so yeah, we have to pace ourselves. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours already, and I think this will take another 2.5 hours, and I cannot afford to stay up until midnight. So anyway, that would be it. Everyone, thank you very much for joining in. I really do appreciate everyone. Muz, if you are still here, thank you so much for the raid. You are a legend. GG, Yo Dash, what is up? How are you doing? Good to see you, even though, yeah, you were here with the raid earlier. Nice to see you, buddy. Anyway, everyone, please do not forget to check out the socials. YouTube, if you are on YouTube, hi, we are simulcasting there right now. Both in the horizontal and vertical format. And we are 3 subs away from 750 subs. And we would really like to get to that number before the end of the year. Rofal, we did work on it for a lot here. Yes, we are working primarily on Twitch and Ib, and we are also streaming in YouTube as well. Anyway, yeah, speaking of YouTube, yep, new video came up yesterday. Please do check that out. Edited by Dash. who's here in the chat right now. Yeah, also please do not forget to check out TikTok and Blue Sky and the Discord as well. Alright. Let's find someone to raid. Is there someone playing this one right now? I assume not. Yeah, alright. You know what? Let's try to raid. Someone I haven't raided in a long time. Let's raid Wiley. Wiley is playing. What is Wiley playing? Wiley's playing Mario 64. So yeah. Yeah. Everyone, thank you very much. Most thank you for the raid. Please do check out the socials. If you enjoy content like this, please consider giving the channel a follow. And yeah, let's go raid out Wiley. Alright, yep. That would be it for the night. So yeah. Everyone, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. We'll continue this tomorrow. Hopefully, we get to finish the case, and I will see you all next time. Bye.